Good day, everyone, and welcome to Journey and Awakening of the Anointed with Mr. Buzz, the channel of authenticity and, well, where I talk about just about everything you can imagine. And if you like authenticity, you like honesty, you like truth, this is the place to be. And if you could hit the like button for me, I would appreciate that very much. Like and subscribe as well, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I put out videos, which I do pretty well every day. Thanks very much. And now we'll talk about something that's not real happy, but something that probably needs to be addressed for a whole lot of you out there. Men who have lost their identity usually comes from a breakup, from a divorce. Doesn't even have to be necessarily a divorce, just a common law relationship can end and result in the same thing, especially if there's children. A divorce is more than just a divorce for the man. Not saying the woman doesn't suffer through a divorce. They definitely do. They heal and recover much quicker than men do, and they take the whole thing much different than men do. They're usually the ones who initiate the divorce in the first place. I think that's up around, it's like 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 divorces are initiated by the female. So, I mean, it's been that way for a very long time, too. It's not, I'm not just picking on the women saying they're always the ones doing it. They literally are almost always the ones doing it. Now, I mean, one could argue, well, that's because the men are so bad they have to do it and whatever. I'm not getting into that argument. I'm just saying it's usually not the man who wants the breakup, the divorce. So once it happens, well, there's a few things that happen. If there's kids, the man realizes right away that he's just not very important, because once the family court gets involved, it's indicated for you very clearly that you don't matter as the man. Okay, you're just not important. Your welfare, well-being is not even considered. It's besides the fact. Okay? So you almost lose your identity as the father of your children in a way. You lose your rights. Especially here in Canada, it's really bad here. It's really bad. Then, well, I mean, in my situation, my wife left, and I moved here to be closer to her family, right? That's why we came here. So I'm almost 2,000 miles away from everybody I know, and I came all the way here. We spent 10 years here, or not quite 10. I guess we were here for 7 or 8 years, and then she left, and I was kind of stuck here. I had a business and everything, and I couldn't just up and leave, and there was no finances to go back home, and I ended up being stuck here. So now I'm stuck here, and that family has washed its hands of me, so I'm not part of a family anymore. Yeah, it was devastating loss of identity, loss of everything, and then I lost the business, and I mean, it just loss. It just kept on going. And everything that made me who I was seemed to fade away. And here it is 9 years later. To be honest, I have not recovered from that. I'm still pretty much in the same boat. I'm alone. I never started another business. Things just didn't take off for me again. So that's what happens to most men, especially at a certain age. Okay, so I was like 46 when this divorce took place. Once you're that age, you should be fairly established into things. And when everything goes badly and you have to start over again at that age, it is very difficult. It's not like starting over at 25 or 30. You're a more mature man now, and you should have a bunch of things already taken care of, but here you are starting over again. You lose your identity. You're starting over, right? It's and the way people look at you because your wife has left you. That was really surprising to me. Like, as soon as people hear that your wife left, well, automatically they're thinking bad things of you. What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? In a lot of marriages, maybe it is the man did some stuff wrong, but in some marriages, it's also the female that does stuff wrong. Sometimes the woman will just leave because she found another man that she likes better. I mean, it could be anything. But people, as soon as they hear that your wife left, well, What did you do? Did you cheat on her? Were you drinking too much? Like, there's a whole list of things they go through, just assuming that you must have done something wrong. So I'm not going to get into why my divorce happened. I mean, there's all kinds of various reasons. Some were my fault, some were hers. It was a compatibility problem, I guess we can say in the end. But after the divorce, the woman will recover much quicker than the man. The man almost always suffers. Men take it totally differently. A man will take that hurt, especially if his kids are leaving and everything. That's the other thing. The woman generally gets to take the kids with her, and the man will have to fight and scratch somehow to even have proper visitation. And then there'll be all these problems making the visitation happen. You get all kinds of fights, and some women, my first wife, demanded supervised visits because she claimed that I was dangerous around the kids and all this, which I've never been. That was totally ridiculous. But it was beneficial, she thought, for her to just crap all over me and say a bunch of stuff that wasn't true and get everybody to sympathize with her, and which isn't that hard to do when you're a female and you're going through a divorce. Everybody will jump on the side of the female and, sympathize with her and look badly upon the man. That's usually how it goes. So guys, if you're going through this, I don't have good news for you, unfortunately. I got kind of disturbing news. It's so much worse for the man usually. And here's something that a lot of people might not agree with, but I swear it's true. For me, it was anyway. If after a divorce, you find someone else and start again and replace that person, whatever, you will recover from it a lot quicker than if you remain single. I'm 9 years after my divorce, and I've stayed totally single. That is why I haven't fully recovered. If I would have done it again, now mind you, I might have done it again and had a third divorce, who knows? Excuse me, but because I remained alone and never replaced that part of my life that I lost, there's this big empty void. It's still there, right? Because I never filled it with anything. So if you don't fill it with another person, you got to fill it with something. You got to fill that void, because your wife and kids not living with you anymore, it's going to do something so devastating to you that I can't even describe it. It really does. It may destroy you completely. It incapacitated me for years that I couldn't even function. It was so devastating for me to go through that divorce, to lose my wife. It's the loss of identity. I actually lost all confidence in myself for years. I used to be a very confident person. I had my own business and had a staff working for me, and was pretty successful and well known. I was in the Chamber of Commerce. I was a real, confident kind of guy with a lot going on, and people respected me, and I was a teacher, so I had tons and tons of students who'd recommend me to all kinds of other people, and I got a story done about me in the paper, and it couldn't have been better, right? Then all of a sudden, in one move, my wife left, shattered my confidence in myself, and it spiraled into me losing every last thing there was. It's just, I'm not saying it should. If I would have been stronger, maybe I could have handled that, but I just didn't have the strength in me to stay holding on, and I let it totally wreck every last thing in my life. So hopefully, guys, if you're facing a divorce or a breakup of this kind, you'll be able to still hold it together and not let it completely wreck you like I did. But your identity is what you want to try to protect. Once you lose your identity and the confidence in yourself and the respect that you once got, being, the husband of that family and, one of the guardians of those children. And when you lose all that, your identity goes with it. And the next thing, you feel useless, worthless, and hopeless is what sets in. So, unfortunately, I don't have any good news here. Like I say, this happens to almost every man who goes through a divorce. Maybe it happens to some women too. I don't know. Women will recover a lot faster usually. Although a lot of them, I mean, they choose to have a divorce, they leave their man, and then they spend the next 5 years regretting it because they find out how hard life is without that person to make things easier. So that happens too, but women will generally get over it, I would say, 5 times faster and recover way more thoroughly than any man ever does. Some men, it's a sad fact, but this is true. Some men never, ever recover. They never recover from it. One of my friends here, we were talking about this in depth, and he said, man, it's my opinion that a lot of men, he said, just never get over it at all. It's a wound that stays forever till the day they die. And I believe that to be true. So, one thing you can do to find strength and find, a reason to go on is turn to the Lord. Anybody who knows me now would know I would recommend that. Turn to Jesus Christ. He's the way, the truth, and the life, the Lord of Lords, and the King of Kings.